Hey guys, it's Cole again. I've had a lot of requests on how to set up and make your lowrider suspension work, kind of like this right here. As you can see, all that goes up, down, like I've shown off in my other video. Steering. So, we're gonna go over that real quick. Starts off in Blender. And what you're gonna want to do in Blender is you're gonna want to find each of your pieces that you're gonna be having move and change the node location of them to where you want them to rotate. So here I've got it set on this pin so it rotates up, down. Same for here, set in the middle of that pin. The airbags I have set dead center for each other. They go up, down. I've got my steering axis set here. And then, of course, all the parts of the wheel all set at the same on this face point right here. So that's pretty much what you need to do in Blender. And just, you know, just click, left click until you find the center of that bolt. Click on that. Set origin to 3D cursor. I'm not moving that because I already know, whoops, I already know where it's at, where I want it and all that. It'll, to make sure it rotates the way you want to, you can hit rotate, I think it's y-axis, and then you can kind of test around with it. Same goes for the rear end, but the rear end's a little more complicated, so we're just going to focus on the front end today, and I'll upload another video of the rear end because it's a little more complicated because it has shocks on it, and the whole rear end rotates up. So we'll go over that in the next video. So once you get your front end all set the way you want it, the way I did everything was I came over and I made a moving parts section, and that's where all my moving parts are at. And as you can see here, if I can get, it's there's my point and all that. Just my bags, all that. They're in there, the upper and lower. The upper is static, so it's just the lower that moves. Lower goes up. I split them so, you know, I could actually have something that it just slides inside itself. Wheels, I have front wheels, a front wheels node, and we'll look at the right side here. I made a spindle joint. I placed it, the way I got my spindle joint was I made a transformation group. I grabbed it, I center mouse buttoned on it, and where my spindle was located at before I stuck it in here, I just center mouse buttoned it, stuck it inside, so now I have a spindle joint here. And then I just took it out and I put it right here, and it didn't work that time. You gotta mess around with it, but you can eventually, you know, you can manually move it and all that, get it where you need it at. And then I froze transformations on it, and then I stuck the spindle in there. It's scaled weird, and then I stuck the wheel inside the spindle, and then realigned everything to where it needs to be at. And I had to upscale the wheel to 100. So you'll have to mess around with some things to get everything lined out correctly there. But in the XML, where did I put my wheels? Alright. XML here. 0, 1. 0 greater than 1. Bar 1. So if you look in here, I got 0 greater than 1. Bar 1. So I called my steering to that node right there, the spindle joint node that I made. And then my wheel, my drive node, 1100, right here. So that'll be my wheel call. So if I want to add more wheels, I'll just drop them in underneath the spindle here. What I'll end up doing is I'll just Control D, duplicate that, because it's already lined up. And then I'll get rid of all this. And then I'll paste all the actual parts inside that wheel. Pretty simple. As far as moving parts, you're going to want to pop up your visuals. I made it to where the cab had its own bed, interior frame, motor, and glass. Mirror glass. So we're going to need the cab. And then you're going to want to take your front wheels node here, and you're going to raise it up to where you want it at, to where you want, you know, where it doesn't clip through and all that jazz. So you just raise it up to where you want it. And then you come into your moving parts, and you're going to grab each one, and you're going to manually rotate each one to where you like it. Like I've got mine set to right here, so that means the front wheels need to come down like so. So you'll go through and you'll manually adjust every piece on the front end. By the time you're done, it'll be in your lowered state. And then just exit. Don't bother saving, or you can leave it in the lowered state. Either way works. I prefer to just exit. So now what you do is with your truck sitting at static height, you're gonna, if you want to start out lowered, you're gonna type up your XML backwards. If you want it to start out, you know, drive height, you'll want to start out with it this way, with your nodes sitting the way they are. So we're gonna kind of shorten that up. We're on part 0020. So we'll come down here to our animation. I've got it set as foldable, like a tailgate. Air ride calls to air ride here. So all you gotta do is hit X and it just slams the truck on the ground or raises it up. So you need to make your parts move. So 0 greater than 0, that is our main node here. And this is the node that we have to actually physically move. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna drop it down to where we like it, with everything still setting static. We're like, right there looks good. So we'll take our Y translate, our XYZ here, and we'll come in here, part node, our node number, start time. I got it set at 0 because I want it to start instantly as soon as I hit the button. End time 1.5. That's how long it takes to do the whole movement. Start transition, which is your XYZs. 0, 0, 0. That's where the truck's going to start at. End transition at 0, 0, 1 to 0, which means on here 0, let's see here, go back, 0.2. Alright, on our second axis, which is our y. So what we're going to do is go 0.2. Alright, so that's where it starts on the lowered. Yeah, I've got mine switched. So at 0, she's set and slammed out. Alright. 0.2 is ride height for mine, because mine, it starts out lowered and then you hit the button to raise it. So 0.2 is where the truck will be at oh damn it, at factory ride height, with all the front end geometry set the way it is. So if you set it in Blender, this will be, you know, straight up zeros, and then you'll move your suspension up and see where it all lands, and then you move the body down. You do not move the wheels. You don't want to code that for movement because it screws everything up. So we go into our next part. 0, 0, 2, 0, start time at 0, of course, and at 105, 1.5, and that'll be all the way down. Everyone will have that. Start rot, and our rotation will be 90, 0, negative 24. And so we'll go in here. This is our first part, 0 greater than 0, 2, 0. This is the part we're going to be coding. So we need to find out where the rotation is that we need. Of course, you know, you'll have your wheels temporarily stuck into the body where you want them. And then you'll, whoops, I hit the wrong button there. You grab this, you look 90, 0, 0. So on mine, I want it to be standing at stock height, so it'll be 90, 0, 0 for the end rotation. And for the start rotation, I would rotate it to where I want it to be. Of course, this will be setting up. I mess with everything in Blender so I could see exactly where all my points are going to be landing. So after I set the bottom, I can come to the front wheels and I'll just slide them up, and then I can set the upper control arm off of that. So here's our start rotation will be 90, 0, 23, negative 23, 365. So we just 90, negative 24. I just simplified it, made it 24. On the top, it ended up being 90, 0, negative 36 for the rotation that I needed. Of course, it comes up 0, 0. All the parts should, you know, you simply just type in your last code first. 90, 0, 0. Alright, so 90, 0, 0. That's where all my parts landed, was at 90, 0, 0. So I coded all that. And to make it rise evenly, seeing as how it's going to be headed the other direction on the other side, it'll be positive 24, positive 36. So I just kept those numbers the same. The airbag, you can see it'll be the lower part number 0 greater than 0, 24, 0 greater than 0, 24, 0, 1, 5. Start transition. So this is your X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. So in your stock location, which would be the end trans, because this truck is starting lowered, I copy the X, Y, and Z to the exact. And then I just raise it up to where it doesn't clip through the bottom. And it kind of clips through the top a little bit. So we'll get it right about there. Yeah, perfect. So then I'll go in and I'll X, Y, Z. So I'll come over here and X, Y, Z. Pretty simple. This 2.6 is where it starts getting complicated because that's my rear arms. And you'll see we'll go over this at a later date, but it's stacked parts. It's got the rear end in it and the rear end parts. So I think I've got it noted over here. So you know, it's going to rotate up and down. I am eventually going to try and put the wheels inside of this so the wheels stay centered on the axle, but it's such a slight difference that you don't notice it. So that's how you code it. I know it's complicated and everything like that, but you just go through and you move your nodes slowly, make sure everything lines up the way you want it to, and you try not to move any call nodes onto the wheel area, because basically what will happen is your body will stay in the same spot and your wheels will go up in the air and the truck will just stay level. So you actually have to physically move everything else up and down. So it'll take some time to get everything lined up and working correctly. It took me several hours to get it figured out on my own, so hopefully this will kind of help you get things going in the process a little quicker for you. But yeah, dealing with a massive sinus headache, so I've not been doing very well the last couple days because of that. My brain isn't working the best, so hopefully this video helps you on getting your front end geometry set up. If you have front shocks and everything, you'll have to watch part 2 of this video, because it's basically the same concept, except I stacked my shocks. You can see here, because this one will have to go up, over, or this one will go up and over, and then to get it to rotate to where I want it to land at, I use the top one to rotate it. So my bottom shock is actually set up to go XYZ, which once it's stacked in there, you can't just quickly move it. You'll have to just barely move it, find your node, and run numbers. Kind of like that. And then get your XYZs all lined up to where, with the suspension compressed, it lands where it needs to be at. Like I said, I'll go over that in the other videos. That's just a shock, if you have a shock on the front end. My airbags also go up, down, and left, right, so fun. It's it takes a lot of time to figure it out, but it can be done. So thanks for watching. Hopefully it helped. If I need to go over it again, make another video, I will. So, see you later. Have fun.